All right. Hello, hello. My name is Nate Fournier with Reimagined Roots, and this presentation is for those who are interested in joining our team here at Reimagined Roots. And so if you want to shift from your current job into a more meaningful career where we help try to save this beautiful planet of ours by transforming boring grass lawns into beautiful, abundant ecosystems that are full of life, then you are in the right place. Because it is one of the most incredible things about this business are the people that it attracts, from our clients who are awesome to you, the people who want more than just a job and a paycheck, who want to do something that's really fulfilling, and especially with other people with shared interests and shared passion, all working together towards a common good. And that is my hope for you, because the reality is most people hate their jobs, and it's so sad. So imagine a place where you can work, you can learn practical skills that you can apply to your own life, and you get to do it with other awesome people who you really get along with. And so we're quite selective in choosing the people who are the best fit for our culture, because we really want to make sure that people love what they do and who they do it with. And so thank you so much for attending. I'm just going to give a bit of a background about my story, how I got started, how Reimagined Roots came to be, and I'll go into our core values and our mission statement so that you have a bit more context as to who we are. So yeah, I grew up in Charlton, Massachusetts, just outside of Worcester. I went to a vocational high school for computer-aided design, where I then went on to WPI. I got my degree in mechanical engineering, and I specialized in astronautics, which was really cool because I got to learn about myself that I love to optimize things. That was the common thread throughout my career, is that I loved taking inefficient systems that are not working well and fixing them and making them more efficient. And I was able to do this with machines and aircraft, which was cool, but nothing I was learning really applied to the rest of my life. And so I've always wanted to do something with my job that I could use outside of work. But one thing that was great through that process was, I had an hour commute to and from work, and I sat in a cubicle under fluorescent lights 40 hours a week. And probably the best part about that was that I was able to have my headphones in and listen to audiobooks and podcasts all day, every day. I'm pretty obsessed with learning. It's kind of a problem, but I love information, and living in the information age, we have so many resources at our fingertips. And so I really I went down a few different rabbit holes, but one rabbit hole was the state of our current agricultural system. And the more I learned, the more depressed I got, because I learned things like we only have 60 years of topsoil remaining until conventional agriculture as we know it will collapse and will not be able to provide the staples required to feed our country under the current status quo. I learned that the chemicals and fertilizers and pesticides that we use in our conventional agriculture is killing us. It's giving us cancer and disease, and it's so bad. I learned that we are currently in the 6th mass extinction event, where in the next 100 years, it's estimated that 30% of all plants and animals on this planet will be on a path to extinction. Among lots of other things, I really went down this hole and got quite depressed, and was living in this fear-based mentality and this pessimistic perspective of the world, mainly because I just didn't think there was anything I could really do about it. Until one day, I was listening to a podcast called the Survival Podcast, and there was a guest on by the name of Jeff Lawton, and he described this idea of permaculture as a beautifully optimistic, positive outlook on things that we can all do to make a positive impact on the planet, on ourselves, and on our communities in a very simple way. He described it as a design science of observing the patterns in nature and learning how to apply those patterns into the way that we design our food systems and much more. But it's really rooted in a deep respect for Mother Nature as the ultimate engineer, who has had billions of years of iteration and evolution and optimization of life, creating these beautifully complex symbiotic relationships between all living things. From the microbes in the soil that mine minerals and make nutrients available to be absorbed by plant roots, and those plant roots that exude sugars and exudates to attract those microbes, to the vast network of mycorrhizal fungi that carpets the forest floor, that transmits electromagnetic communication between trees and shares nutrients and resources between plants. All of these things were fascinating. And for me, it really flipped a switch of looking at the world with a different lens as an engineer, seeing these relationships and seeing in a humble silence, observing these patterns and seeing them everywhere. And then knowing that we can apply those patterns to the way that we grow our food in a much more sustainable and even regenerative way. Through this whole process, I came to believe that it is our collective purpose as the conscious, sentient, intelligent beings that we are to be the stewards of this planet, to be the gardeners of this garden planet, and to facilitate life, not to force ourselves upon it and destroy ecosystems and think that we know better, because we just don't. And it's great now with all the research and the technology is starting to catch up, but we still are just scratching the surface of truly understanding the relationships between living things in nature. And I believe it is our time to integrate ourselves into our ecosystems rather than brute forcing our way into them. But this idea of optimizing our relationship with nature set a fire in my heart. And it was in that moment, in my car, while listening to that podcast, I had decided that this was my life's purpose, to be a permaculture designer. Then after some stints in sales and construction, I got my general contractor's license. I flipped some houses. I got some real estate. I invested in real estate, all with a specialty in green building design and energy efficient building construction, with a vision of being able to create these net zero, off-grid, net positive energy houses, and then plant these beautiful, dynamic, integrated ecosystems that are full of food and medicine, all in one small parcel of land, to create these whole human habitats, not just a house and a lawn. But I wasn't quite sure how to start a business and run this business just yet, until I had an opportunity to go to New Zealand, and I lived and worked on this regenerative agriculture farm, on this eco village, and I fell in love. I saw it in practice for the first time. I had read all the books and watched all the YouTube videos, and I've taken 2 online permaculture design courses beforehand, but being in person with some of the indigenous peoples there who are redesigning their settlements with permaculture practices in mind solidified that this was my purpose, and it was time to put it into place, which I had the opportunity to do right at the beginning of COVID. I came back and the world was in chaos. And it was great timing, because it was also the first time that many people had that panicked feeling they got when you went to the grocery store and there was no food in the shelves. And just that waking up, that realization that the systems that we depend on are so fragile. And it was a movement, the beginning of this paradigm shift, where people want to be more self-sufficient, self-reliant, to grow your own food, to take control of your health and wellness, and help make a positive impact on your local ecosystems by planting native plants and helping support pollinators. And we were really well positioned. And the phone just keeps ringing. It was great timing, because now there's this awakening, and nobody else is doing it. There's very few companies who are offering this ecological, organic land care, edible consultation and design for these beautiful systems. And so we are on the forefront of this change, which is really exciting, because this all leads right into our mission statement here at Reimagined Roots, which is to revolutionize the American lawn for a more resilient future by creating beautiful, functional ecosystems full of food, medicine, and native plants. And we have three core values which are really important to us here. The first one is rooted in resilience, where we embrace adversity and challenge with extreme ownership while being flexible and positive as we observe and imitate the resilience of nature. Where in the face of a fragile world, we help our clients create a resilient landscape, which will lead to more nutritional, emotional, communal, and environmental resilience. Now, each of these core values is broken into two paragraphs. The first one is internally amongst our team, and the second one is external, client-facing and community-facing. But they're both so important. What does it mean to be nutritionally and physically resilient? To be emotionally resilient? To be communally and societally resilient? And of course, environmentally resilient. This is what we strive for. The second core value is conscious curiosity. And this used to be lifelong learning and empathetic engagement. But I think being consciously curious really gets to the essence of what we mean by that, where through intentional and continual engagement with information, we capitalize on the unlimited capacity of the human mind to learn and develop a holistic understanding of our external, internal, and interpersonal environments. To be consciously curious about the world around us, to be humble and sit back in awe and wonder of things we don't understand, and then taking active steps to better understanding those things that we have yet to understand. So engaging with the information to look up things you don't know constantly, to really wonder and really have that drive and desire to better understand the world around us. And internally, being consciously curious about ourselves, who we are, what we want out of life, what are our goals and our own core values. And it's really important to then align with the work that you do. Interpersonal environments, being really curious about other people and their lived experience and how they perceive the world, and coming into any debate or disagreement with just a genuine curiosity of like, wow, I wonder how you got there and what experiences in your life you've had that allowed you to arrive at that conclusion. And we may disagree, but I'm genuinely curious and we can have an open, honest discussion about it. And that's the empathy. This is so important. And we're just committed to continuously learning from and applying the profound wisdom of nature to our work. Consciously curious. Our third core value is radical candor, where candor is the quality of being open and honest while caring personally, but challenging directly. Encouraging open, honest, and difficult conversations while keeping cool, calm, and respectful. Being mindful of our temper, not holding grudges, and not keeping important concerns to ourselves. Because successful relationships require frequent, direct, and empathetic communication, which we foster through clear and open dialogue. Again, this is really important in-house amongst our team, always constantly communicating, making sure our expectations are properly being set and met. If you're ever uncomfortable, being able to have that open, safe place where you can bring your concerns forward and they will be received with empathy. And the same thing with our clients. Very important. And a lot of this can be summarized as the aggregate of arete. In ancient Greek, arete is often translated as excellence or virtue. It encompasses the idea of fulfilling one's potential, achieving the highest level of effectiveness, and contributing positively to various aspects of life. Here at Reimagined Roots, we seek to optimize the potential of ourselves, of each other, and with the landscapes we interact with. And that is the essence of Reimagined Roots. Now, I hope that gives a bit more context as to who we are, and if it seems like this would be a great place for you to work and to join our team and to push this mission forward of trying to add positive value to our ecosystems and to be an active participant in helping save this planet. Thank you so much.